The elevator doors opened to the 42nd floor, where silence carried more power than words. Emily Carter, a quiet contract nurse with steady hands, entered the CEO's private suite for a routine check. She didn't expect her heartbeat to race when she saw him. Ryan Brooks, the man whose decisions shape thousands of lives, struggling to button his sleeve. His hand was shaking. Not the way stress makes you tremble, but the way fear does when it's buried too deep. "Rough week?" she asked softly. He smiled, brittle and forced. "Just another Monday." But Emily saw what no one else dared to. The hidden tremor, the small bandage beneath his cuff, and a look in his eyes that whispered he was hiding something that could destroy everything he'd built. That moment would change both their lives. The powerful man terrified to be seen as weak, and the shy nurse who refused to look away. Don't miss what happens next. Like this video and subscribe to Canada's Heartfelt Tales, where quiet courage can change everything. Under the fluorescent lights of Brooks Care headquarters, the hum of power masked a quiet tension. Ryan Brooks stood before the board, his sharp suit immaculate, voice steady as ever, but his left hand betrayed him again. The tremor was stronger now. Emily watched from the side of the conference room, her heart pounding as the water glass slipped from his grasp and shattered on the floor. For a second no one moved. The mighty CEO froze, pale, eyes distant. Then Claire Donovan, his executive assistant, rushed forward, smoothing the chaos with forced calm. "Mr. Brooks has been working around the clock," she said smoothly, dabbing at the spilled water. "Let's all appreciate his dedication." Polite applause followed, hollow and uneasy. No one dared to acknowledge the truth. Emily did. She saw fear hidden behind authority. And that fear haunted her. Later that day in the break room, Lily's voice cut through the silence. "You look like you just saw a ghost." Emily stared into her coffee. "He's sick, Lily." "I know it." Lily frowned. "You're reading too much into it." Gio shake too. Pressure, caffeine, stress. "No," Emily said, firm for once. "It's neurological. I've seen it before." The room fell quiet. Emily's hands trembled, not from doubt, but from knowing she was about to cross a line she couldn't uncross. By nightfall, she couldn't stop thinking of his face, the exhaustion, the way his eyes flickered with panic when his hand betrayed him. She knew that look. Her grandmother had worn it when Parkinson's began stealing her independence piece by piece. And Emily had sworn she'd never stay silent again. The next morning she made a choice. Against every whisper of fear in her chest, she took the elevator to the 42nd floor, clutching his chart like a lifeline. Each floor that passed reminded her what she could lose. Her job, her reputation, maybe even her career. But when she saw him, alone at his desk, pale and distracted, all she saw was a man pretending not to be drowning. "Mr. Brooks," she said quietly. He looked up, startled. "Nurse Carter. Is something wrong?" She hesitated, then stepped closer. "That's what I wanted to ask you." He blinked, confused. "Excuse me." Her voice shook, but she kept going. "I know it's not my place, but I think you're sick. And I think you know it." The air thickened. His expression hardened instantly. "You're out of line. Please just hear me out," she whispered. "The tremor, the fatigue, the medication you're hiding, this isn't just stress. I have world-class physicians," he snapped. "Then why are you lying to them?" The words hit harder than she intended. His jaw clenched, eyes burning with something deeper than anger, fear. "You don't know what you're talking about. Leave." "I know what denial looks like," she said, her voice trembling now. "I watched it kill my grandmother." For a moment neither spoke. Then the door opened behind her. Claire stood there, expression sharp as glass. "Emily Carter," she said coldly. "My office. Now." Within the hour, Emily was terminated. No chance to explain, no defense. Her contract shredded under the weight of corporate silence. Claire's words echoed in her head as security escorted her out. "Stay in your lane, or you won't have one." That night, she sat alone in her tiny apartment, replaying every second, wondering if she'd made the biggest mistake of her life. Rain tapped against the window, steady, relentless. Then her phone buzzed. Unknown number. Emergency. Ryan Brooks admitted to St. Catherine's. Neurological event. Her breath caught. She didn't think. She just ran. When she reached the hospital, the air smelled of antiseptic and fear. Dr. Reed, her former mentor, met her at the door. His face said everything before his words did. "You were right, Emily," he murmured. "Parkinson's. Severe stress made it worse. He's lucky to be alive." Through the ICU window, Ryan lay pale and motionless, machines keeping rhythm where his strength once did. Emily pressed her hand against the glass. "He could have avoided this," she whispered. Dr. Reed nodded. "You tried to warn him. They punished you for compassion." The next days blurred into sleepless hours. Ryan stabilized slowly. When his eyes finally opened, they found hers through the glass. Gratitude flickered there, fragile but real. He asked for her. When Emily entered his room, he looked smaller without the armor of a suit, just a man facing his own mortality. "You were right," he said hoarsely. "And I fired you for it." "You don't owe me an apology," she replied. "You owe yourself honesty." He smiled faintly. "You've got more courage than everyone in my boardroom combined." Weeks passed. Recovery came with humility. For the first time in his career, Ryan listened instead of commanded. And when Claire returned to his bedside, eyes swollen, voice shaking, her composure finally cracked. "I thought I was protecting you," she said. "But I was protecting myself. I fired the only person brave enough to save you." Ryan studied her silently, then said, "You'll transfer to the Atlanta office, effective immediately. And you'll take a leave of absence to think about what leadership means." Claire's lip trembled. She nodded and left without another word. For the first time, Emily saw justice done, not in anger but in truth. Weeks later, Ryan called her back to headquarters. The office felt different, softer somehow. He extended his hand, steady now. "Emily, I want you to help me rebuild this place. As Director of Human Wellness." Her jaw dropped. "I'm not qualified." "You're the most qualified person I know," he said simply. "You saw me when I couldn't see myself. That's leadership." Under her guidance, Brooks Care transformed. They built wellness programs, flexible schedules, open-door counseling, small steps that rippled through the company like a quiet revolution. Executives learned to rest. Nurses learned their voices mattered. For the first time, health wasn't just something they provided, it was something they lived. And when Ryan stood before the company months later, cane in hand, voice steady but warm, the silence in the hall wasn't out of fear anymore. It was respect. "I once believed strength meant silence," he said. "That to lead meant to hide pain. Emily Carter taught me the opposite. She reminded me that humanity isn't weakness. It's the reason we fight to heal it all." Applause rose slowly, then all at once, echoing through glass and marble like thunder. Emily stood at the back, tears in her eyes, knowing this moment wasn't about recognition. It was about change. But the true reckoning came quietly weeks later. Claire's confidential dismissal leaked. The board investigated the toxic culture she'd enforced for years. Bullying, intimidation, silencing staff who spoke up. Her career collapsed overnight. The woman who once used fear to control others was left alone, her reputation in ruins. Meanwhile, Emily's influence spread far beyond Brooks Care. Hospitals adopted her model. Nurses found courage to speak up. Patients received better care. And Ryan, though still living with his illness, led with grace. Transparent, compassionate, unafraid. In every hallway, in every quiet corner, Emily's lesson lingered. One voice can start a revolution when it refuses to stay silent. The story didn't end with a victory. It began with one. Because sometimes the softest voice is the one that saves a life and changes an empire. But what Emily didn't know yet was that Claire wasn't finished. And the lengths she'd go for revenge would test everything Emily had fought to build. Months passed, and the story that began with a trembling hand turned into something far greater than anyone expected. The company Emily once feared walking through now carried her name on every floor, not as a title, but as a reminder of courage quietly spoken. Ryan, no longer hiding behind perfection, often stopped by her office, leaning on his cane, smiling like someone who had finally made peace with being human. One afternoon, sunlight streamed through the new wellness center's glass walls as employees gathered for the unveiling of a small plaque, in honor of those who had the courage to care. Emily stood beside it, her reflection mixing with theirs. Doctors, janitors, nurses, people who had once stayed silent but now spoke without fear. Ryan turned to her, voice low. "You changed everything, Emily." She smiled softly. "We all did. I just said what everyone else felt." In that moment, the noise of the city faded, leaving only warmth, proof that empathy could rebuild even the coldest of institutions. The world didn't change overnight, but one voice had reminded thousands that strength begins with honesty. If this story touched your heart, help us keep these voices alive. Like, share, and subscribe to Canada's Heartfelt Tales, where real courage, quiet or loud, always finds a way to be heard.